not what we're talking about. You're getting off the subject here. This guy did this because he was radicalized. Maybe he got mad. Nobody's saying this wasn't workplace violence.
He was a crazy guy.
Yes, he was. But he was also a radicalized terrorist. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about what they're doing in this country and how they're recruiting people here in this country.
Well, now, if you Slender Man, he recruited those two girls up in Wisconsin.
See,
and they went out
you're just being silly now. You're being silly.
Well, I regard Slender Man as real as Muhammad is.
Yeah,
so.
but you're being silly. There's no
it's interesting. Did you see that the ISIS refineries were bombing over there?
Yeah.
There's Vice actually does really good reporting these days. They go over there, but it turns out that, and this is they're having trouble selling the oil, the crude oil, so they're trying to refine it themselves so they can sell it as gasoline or whatever.
Yeah, and
the reason for that, fracking. In 2013, the U.S. became the leading producer of fossil fuels on the planet. So we no longer need as much oil from overseas as we once did.
Well, if this president won't allow the fracking to take place, and he's done everything he could possibly do to stop it, how could we become number one in fracking if it's not allowed?
Oh no, no. I don't think he's done anything to stop.
Oh, yes, he has. He most certainly has.
Well, what he's done is he's stopped the export, which would encourage more fracking because the price of like natural gas, which is around $3, would go up to like $9, and then they'd frack more. But I think the fracking itself is a state by state thing, as to whether each state will allow it. Like New York doesn't, Texas does. So.
Hold on now, you know that.
I quite remember it, but okay, go ahead.
You guys know that nobody except for the people that make that stuff that goes into the ground, nobody knows what that secret stuff, that secret sauce is they're putting in the fucking ground to frack with. You guys know that, right?
Who cares?
Oh, no big deal. Fuck it. Just drill over there about 400 yards from our water table and then put some in that shit. That'll be good.
400. Oh, now you know by how many yards they are to the water.
But all I'm saying is just from certain states and fracking, a lot of stories have surfaced about the stuff that they put in there killing people. So, yeah, just a thought. I mean,
why is it there's always reports of when something good happens in this country that it's all of a sudden it's killing people?
Look. All I'm saying is we're living on a dying. It's 100-year-old technology, Jay. 100 years ago is when the engine was created. Why do we still need gas and oil? Because
they're making money from it. We all know that. But if they're going to make money, at least do it, the best way you can. I don't care how much money they're making. I don't want to pay $4 a fucking gallon for oil. So if there are things they can do to get that down, then let them do it.
But they know that you could create energy for free on your own if you wanted to, man. Come on.
Here we go. You always bring it around to this. I'm not going to let you do it this time. Barco, you got everything else to say?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that ISIS, when they did those beheading videos, did it because they wanted us to come back, that they want us to bomb Iraq, bomb Syria.
All right, so they said
our drone strikes, our bombings, it helps their recruitment. And
it helps their recruitment.
That was their plan, and it worked perfectly.
In your mind, we shouldn't do it because it helps their recruitment.
Well, no, half measures, airstrikes, militarily achieves nothing. All it does
it does achieve. It doesn't achieve the final goal. You're never going to win with it. You're never going to get them or clear them out or move them out of where they are. You'll disperse them. No, you're right about that. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it.
Well, it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. But if we could probably achieve more and have ISIS's stature over there in those countries not be elevated by being the great defender of Islam against the USA.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
if we support
we would have pulled every single troop out of there and not do a damn thing against them over there, and just let them run whatever they want to do. Do you really think that that's going to lessen the threats out there to us? You really believe that?
Well, until we got involved, you had Iran, Saudi Arabia, the government of Iraq, you had a nice coalition going against ISIS. Now that coalition is starting to crack, and we're probably going to end up right back in the situation we were in, 5-6 years ago.
Right. So if the president hadn't have done what he did, we wouldn't be in this position. You're absolutely right about that.
You should not make these speeches that we're going to fall in the gates of hell and everything, because that gets translated into recruitment posters for ISIS.
Who gives a shit? Again, this point, you keep bringing this point up. Who gives a shit?
Biden is nobody. Biden is...
That's not even the point. My point is, who cares? Do you really think I care what they're going to use to recruit whoever it is they're going to put on the field that we're going to end up killing anyway?
Well, why do we have to kill anybody? It's not our job.
It is our job. Because if we don't kill them there, they're going to come here and kill us here. Do you get that, or you don't understand that? Or does it have to happen?
They're here because the crazy guy in Oklahoma lost his job.
That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what we're saying here. I'm talking about the big picture. You keep going back minuscule. I'm talking about the big picture here. This is the first time on our soil someone was beheaded in the name of this Islamic war. Okay?
Yes, and there was a woman stabbed in Wisconsin in the name of Slender Man by a couple of crazy people. Crazy people do crazy things.
But that's silly for you to make that comparison.
Doing crazy things dictate our foreign policy or anything else.
You're talking about someone who's been radicalized.
You agree with this, Barco? The experience of us, through the 2 world wars and of the Cold War we went through, the USSR and so forth, I think have accustomed us to, and most people around the world, to the expectation that the U.S. will always stand up for freedom and democracy and stand by those, who are willing to fight for it, even when that stance might not offer us any particular, immediate prospect of anything at all, but, really great danger and sacrifice. And, to me, that's not just an incidental fact about our country. It's inherent in our identity.
Unfortunately, 2 points. One, unfortunately, the people of that region, Iraq, Syria, and so forth, have no history of democracy or freedom. The way we're not really defending. If anything, they're better off under a.
No, as far as that argument is concerned, I happen to agree with you on that one, Barco. Nation building over there is futile and useless. Let them kill each other. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Leave them alone.
Think the average citizen around the world that's living in these situations, the average person like you and me that has a family, just all they want is a place to live, a job, a way to support their family, and freedom, and being able to do what they want to do when they want to do it. That's simply what people want.
Exactly. And the other point I was going to make, both Ernie and Jay probably remember living under the Cold War, and they remember the fear porn nuclear drills they had students do where you get under your desk. And you probably remember being told by J. Edgar Hoover that there's a communist under every bed. And was it true? No. If the Russians couldn't do anything, what makes you think these ISIS people in the middle of BSE Iraq are going to get over here and do anything?
Because it's
all listen
here. Yeah, they're already here, first of all.
One crazy guy saw it on TV and said, I don't want to do that.
Okay, you continue to believe that.
Man and said, we're going to do that. Crazy people do crazy things.
Over 100.
As well,
and that's a conservative estimate, I believe.
Yeah, is it an epidemic? No, it's not an epidemic yet, but the fact still remains.
How many
it's being done here. Yeah, and how many? Yeah, exactly. What do you wait? 100 people a day?
I don't know.
Or they start bombing things again, or they start killing people again. I mean, come on, that's a silly argument.
I don't think the guy in Oklahoma. Fine, he was probably into Islam, but he was a nutter. He did that because he.
But just because you believe it doesn't make it true.
Like, oh, that looks like something I can do to get some attention and
attention.
When it's a wake-up call.
Exactly.
Others like him out there.
The wake-up call that this country finds better mental health resources for their people.
Mental health. Okay, all right. Maybe you're right about that. That doesn't change the facts.
Yeah.
It still doesn't change the facts. He cut this woman's head off, but you still don't believe that he did that.
He was not one of these ISIS guys.
But everybody over there in ISIS and that whole organization is crazy.
I don't know if they're crazy.
You don't know that they're crazy.
I don't know that everyone in ISIS is crazy.
You don't know that.
I think some of them are probably political operatives realizing that
political operatives fighting with guns in the street, killing and shooting people, defenseless people, hundreds at a time.
Running
but you don't think they're crazy?
Jay, you're turning me on.
I don't understand where your thinking comes from, Barco. I don't get it. How could you say they're not crazy? Or you don't know that they're crazy. That's the argument the far left puts up every time, you give them facts. Well,
so
you don't know that
everyone involved in ISIS is crazy?
Yes, I do, 100%. Why would you go around shooting and killing innocent men and raping women and children? Why would you do that if you're not crazy?
Well, people have been doing that.
Oh, people have been doing so it's okay. So we should just let it happen.
Centuries.
But we should just let it happen.
No, we should support the local
that's
people.
All I wanted. No, we shouldn't let it happen.
Why do we think the people of Iraq are such wimps that they can't defend their own home?
Because they can't. They just ran away from this army and gave them everything that we gave them.
Jay, it's not that they can't, it's that they won't.
No, they can't. They have nothing to fight for except knowing that if they lose, and if they get overrun, all of them are going to get their heads cut off. They're scared shitless. They don't know how to fight. They were never trained how to fight, and that's why they can't do the job. That's why they left their guns and ran. Because they're not fighting for anything.
I don't even know what the fuck you just said.
Neither do I.
All right, you're gonna live on your knees, or you're gonna die on your feet.
There you go.
That's what it comes down to.
But
and they're willing to live on their knees under these ISIS humps.
So damn good and well, Ernie, that those people over there could do it if they wanted it bad enough. They don't want it. They don't care. They like to live on their knees. If that's the way they want it, fuck it.
Well, maybe they just can't do it. Did you ever think of that?
So
because they can't defend themselves, we shouldn't try and help them or defend them?
Oh, we have time and time again. We've gone down there. We've showed them what the fuck is up. We've given them the necessity, the tools. What happens? We leave. Soon as we leave, some fucking regime, al-boo-boo, ha-ha-hee-hee, comes right in and it's like, this is it. As soon as they pull the trigger once or twice, 100 guys.
So we let them go into Afghanistan. We let them go into Pakistan. Just take that whole region over, right? Is that what we're going to do?
Just let them have everything. Go ahead. And then let them, we'll worry about that when it spills over, Ernie. Let them, kill each other over there, I
don't even know that any of that actually is what's going on over there because I'm not over there.
Again, another one with this stupid argument. Come on, stop it, will you?
Well, let's just think about it for once here.
Let's think about it for once. That argument doesn't hold water no matter what you're talking about. Just because you don't know. It's well known by people in the government, people in all the people that are involved in this shit know exactly what's going on. So don't give me that shit we don't know. Come on, we do know. You don't know. I don't know, but they know. Everybody that needs to know knows. So don't give me that shit. That's a baseless argument. Well, we don't know. Well, because you don't want to believe it or you don't want to see it, that doesn't make it not true.
What are you saying, Jay?
What am I saying?
Well, yeah, what you're basically saying, I want to know if this is right here. What you're basically saying is because of what other people have told us, we have to accept what is fact.
You don't have to accept anything. I'm not saying you have to accept anything. I'm giving you my opinion on the whole thing. But when you sit here and say, well, I don't know that. Of course you don't know it, because it's not for you to know. But the people that do need to know. And that's all we need to know, basically, unless you want to become, go into the Secret Service or do shit like that. There are people that handle that shit, and they know, because they're talking now.
What I'm saying, Jay, is that...
And what you're saying is when you make that argument that these people are lying.
We're speaking
and everybody else is lying because you don't believe what they're saying.
I believe none of what I hear and half
of what you see. I get it. That's a good way to be. But, so far, that's all I've heard is I don't believe this, I don't believe that, I don't believe this. This one doesn't believe that woman was beheaded in Oklahoma. And if it was just by one crazy guy. Doesn't matter what he said or did or what he had on Facebook or what he had on his computer or what he said. None of it matters.
The police report said that he had tried to make it to her neck bone, but he couldn't. But that was basically beheading.
Oh, all right. So he didn't behead her. He just cut her neck to her fucking backbone. Okay. Jeez, I'm sorry. He didn't get to sever it off. Come on. You're picking now. Do you hear what you sound like?
No, but
he made it to the bone. Oh, excuse me.
Jay, the question still remains what you originally asked. What do we do now if there is a radical extremist Muslim
we take it to them and we take it on the ground. We're not going to like it. I don't like it. Nobody here likes it. We don't have the stomach for it. But if we don't do it, no one else can, is the point.
Jay, you mean here in the United States?
No, over there. Send them over there.
That's not going to solve the problem.
Yeah, it is going to solve the problem. Between